Hello everyone and welcome to the SMS-R Championship, sponsored by ESL, essentially the multi-class championship, and we're here at Silverstone for the second round. So as you saw at Watkins Glen, I did qualify for this one, thankfully, and we're about to start our fastest qualifying lap of the session. Now we're only going to get a chance at 2 laps, so we don't have much chance, and this is the first one. So we're looking, my best lap overall is a 2 minute 5.8 in this car. Now I'm using the rough as well, which is unusual for me because I've never used the car before, but it was really good in the wet, and as you've probably seen, Silverstone is absolutely soaking. So it's a wet race. It's the first time they've used a wet race, and you can see there's going to be quite a bit of oversteer in this car, especially in the race. Of course, tyres are going to get hot, so you'll see a lot of oversteer. But even so, we carry on towards Brooklands and Luffield, and it's not too bad of a first sector really. 36.5. I have been down in the 36.2s. Essentially it's a 0.6 really, so we are about 4 tenths off our ultimate pace there, but we continue on nonetheless. You can see traffic is a big issue in qualifying, and the fact that the GT3 cars only get 2 laps. Obviously we want to go for it just as much as the pros. As we come into Cops now, just miss the apex just slightly, but it's not too bad. Run any more wider than that and we would get a shortcut penalty. We're doing pretty well at the moment in this middle sector as we come through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, and through we go. Now I'm quite used to this obviously combo of corners from GT Academy and things like that, but we come through here, just get a bit of understeer there, a bit too much understeer, and we continue on nonetheless as we head towards the split time. 52.5, we are looking for a 0.3 or 0.2 really, so I'm still down on my ultimate, but even so we continue on. My ultimate is way in the 2 minute 5, so but it's really hard to do that. Remember, you've got 2 laps, and you've got to go back to the pits to come out again to get the best laps. So yeah, it's really hard to nail that. But even so, we come into this last sector now. You can see I'm catching up to the GT cars, but fortunately we're just gonna miss catching them before we get to the line as we come through this last corner. So you can tell we've run a pretty quick lap. The fact we've caught these guys up that quick. And as we cross the line, it's a 2 minute 6.1, which is a fairly decent lap to be honest. But F mate there, you just saw pit me to the pole position for GT3 and the Challenger class. So here we go for the race. The roughs are really fast starters, and as you'll see, we get ultimate starts again. But Phoenix comes to the right, then slams on his brakes, not sure what for. And then I go around and he slams on his brakes again, not sure. But after speaking to him, apparently there was a car sideways and in front of him on his screen, so he couldn't actually move. It wasn't anybody else's, but even so we're going to continue on now. We did get a lot of damage from that, a lot of straight line speed damage, so we've lost 4 miles an hour already, and you can see how tight it is. Look at the field in front of us, it looks immense. Didn't realise Popsy was on the inside, just comes through there on the left hand side. Slight contact, nothing to worry about there, that's just racing at the start. You are going to get slight contacts and things. There's Phoenix on the left hand side. Phoenix is going to go through now, and Popsy just gets a position on Yuhan as well. Just look behind me, see if there's any more LMP cars. And we continue on once again. Popsy said sorry, I don't know if that was to me or what, but I'm not too fussed about that contact to be honest. At the start, when it's slight contact like that, it's expected. There's 29 cars in the field. You can't tell where all 29 cars are all at once. When it's raining, you can hardly see your braking point, never mind anything else on the track. But we continue on now, heading towards Cops, and you can see, look at the field of view there. You just can't, you can hardly see anything. It's unbelievable. As we come into Cops, you can tell I've just got it slightly wrong. Just cut the corner a bit too much there on the inside, and then I'll try and run it out wide just to try and get a bit more momentum going. But all the challenges really close here, and the good news is I've had a fairly decent start, apart from that weird start with Flame Phoenix where I've dropped to 6th in class from 2nd. I'm actually happy that I'm still in the race. So remember, top 3 in Challenger automatically qualify for the next one, so I've got to make up 3 positions at the moment in order to make that automatic qualification spot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just wondering why I'm losing speed on the straight a little bit. I'm just getting used to the car. I can see just quickly there that an LMP car's gone off track. I'm understeering here like crazy. I'm trying to get it away from there. Phoenix comes on and I hit him again. That causes a bit more damage. So now I've lost a bit of turning as well as straight line speed. So it's going to be hard. But as you've probably seen from the video length, it's going to be good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave you, as I do sometimes with these videos, I'm going to leave you with some epic action for a fair while. Trust me, this is really good. and I hope you enjoy the next few laps, and I'll speak to you again soon. So what a move there on Burla. I couldn't believe that move. The car is so tail happy on that corner, and I managed to overtake Burla there. Popsy was a little bit of a weird one because into Lovefield, I was on the outside, I was straight, he broke too late. So he then clipped my just my front end slightly. Now in my mind, that wasn't my issue at all, my fault in the slightest, so I kept that position. Interesting to hear other points of view, if you think I should have given that back or not. Personally, it was so slight, and the fact that he outbroke himself into Brooklands, you saw him do it at he outbroke himself into Lovefield, but you saw him do it at Brooklands as well. To me, that is my position gained there, just because he outbroke himself. But yeah, the move on Burla, oh my word, we side by side throughout there, and then just on the loop, I just got it. I was well happy with that move. As you can see, I fast forwarded it a little bit to Yuhan now, and I'm just fighting with Yuhan now to try and get that next position. Yuhan is in the spot I need to automatically qualify, and then in front of Yuhan we've got Tejpek, and way out in the lead there is F-Mate as well. So you'll see me keep flashing at Yuhan. This is because a while ago on the other multi-class, if you remember, back on the last race at Oschersleben, I flashed Yuhan into the first corner. I don't know whether that caused him to make the mistake or what or not. But even so, I'm just going to flash, try and put him off a little bit there, try and gain the positions. Of course, I'm damaged already, so I've got to try and come up with other ways to overtake him. And that's my idea, essentially, is to try and do that. We can see we're catching Tejpek a little bit as well, but we keep pushing on. Now, F-Mate is way out there at the moment. He's about 10 seconds ahead of Tejpek, so he's even further ahead of us. And he's really going strong here. I had a practice race with F-Mate, actually, and also his teammate. And we had 25 minutes of side-by-side action. It was unbelievable, and he was really showing some pace here. But we keep pushing on, so you can see we're really pushing Yuhan now. We're trying to see where his strengths and weaknesses are. He's obviously in a different car as well, in the Z4, although the TV camera will have you believe he's in an LMP car, but it is a Z4. Yuhan does Brooklands very different to how I do it, so I come in quite tight because I want to get the tight line. It's wet, I want to stay off the racing line, so I do gain quite a lot of time there on Yuhan as we come into Lovefield, and he stays really tight. I try and come out to come back in to try and straighten the car up a bit earlier onto this straight as we then head towards Copt. You can see in front Tejpek is about to catch somebody up, and that is indeed Flamed Phoenix. So Flamed Phoenix, after the first lap incidents, had gone in the pits, and apparently they'd put slicks on his car, which isn't very helpful, but it just caused Yuhan to go left, and Yuhan actually got a shortcut penalty there. So I managed to get the qualifications, but I felt really bad for Yuhan there, though, because that wasn't his fault. He was just trying to take avoided action. And in front of me, you can see that Tejpek has gone off in the Maggots Beckett's Chapel complex. So I managed to get another position. I'm up into second. Out of nowhere. I could not believe this. So as you can see there, I'm 11.5 seconds behind F-Mate. And what I do is I essentially now try and work out on the next lap how fast can I actually go in the car, and am I going to be able to catch F-Mate? So you can see the gap's shortened a little bit. That's because F-Mate had a little problem overtaking Antomat here, who I flash, but I realise he's going in the pits, so I carry on. Now I'm going to keep this lap going, because I want to show you what my lap time is, and then you get a good idea. So in my practice race, I was doing 2:07. Well, I've done a 2:07.2 in the race, but normally 2:07.4 to 2:07.8 is a standard lap, and I'm doing 2:08.4, and I did do a 2:08.1 in this race and 2:08.0 as well, so that shows you I'm 6, 7, 8 tenths of damage. So now I'm going to show you some of the laps of me being lapped. Now I want you to look at these, because I actually lose quite a lot of time to these for being too helpful, should I say. I did mention about being helpful to other drivers here. Now I know Michael flashes like crazy, so I knew that was Michael straight away. I let off quite early here, a bit too early in my mind. I probably should have taken this complex first, but I let Michael through all the same. And continue on now. Michael got pole, Michael led the race, and Michael does go on to win the race as well, so a really good job there by Magic Michael. We had some cracking races in LMP2 on the PS4 in the multi-class, and he's obviously showing some pace here as well. I mean, we got really close at Brands actually, if you look back at that race at some point. So now obviously I'm waiting for the next person to come, and I'm not sure who this is actually, to be honest, initially. I'm just trying to start working this out because it's always nice to know. And at this point, I think this is a fair let through. I don't lose too much time. I lose about half a second or so, but I'll let Sonic through there. And I think that was Sonic's first race in this championship, so he's doing well there in second place. And he continues on. And you'll see me quite a lot in this. Continuously look behind me because I'm trying to judge where the cars are, how fast they're going, and things like that. So as I come into cops, I'm also looking at the map as well at the same time, and I can see that somebody's about to catch me up, and they're about to catch me up in the worst place possible, and I can see it's Isaac as well. So I'm friends with Isaac. I'm going to just dive out the way really quickly because he's going to be extremely fast through here. Don't lose hardly any time there at all. Probably another 3 attempts, 4 attempts. That one really good. Isaac goes through again. Isaac having a really good run in this championship as well. It's really well played to Isaac. So next is Mangator, Ninja Mangator, because he's got no lights on. So I'm constantly looking behind here trying to judge what Mangator's going to do. I suddenly see this Porsche out of nowhere. I'm like, no, get out of the way. So you can see the spammer flashing there. And then I'm going to let Mangator through. I was really worried he was going to come on, hit me, which will then hit Mangator, and I didn't want that at all. And Mangator had done a good job as well. I think he started 7th or 8th, and he's up to 4th. So we continue on now, and we're about to actually lap somebody ourselves, which is always good, and we are about to lap Flame Phoenix. So once again, a bit of issue with Flame Phoenix. This is the second time I'm lapping him, and as I say, it's because he's on slicks at this point. First lap he wasn't, of course, and that's why he unfortunately got the damage at the start, and then also with that collision at Stone. But as you see there, I look behind me again. I constantly do that. When I'm on a straight, I'll look behind me. Who's there? What they're doing? Who is it? Because once you get to learn who the drivers are, you can sort of gauge it a lot more. Now you can see I've lost about 4 seconds at this point to letting traffic through, so it's quite a lot, and at this point I realise I'm losing too much. So you can see there, I think that's Rotax, is it? Yes, it is. He's not on the replay for some reason. Not sure why, but I'll let Rotax through there. That, I didn't lose any time at all, really. Like maybe 2 attempts, but that's nothing. That's what you expect to lose when letting that traffic through. And now this is where I actually make the wrong decision. So I come into the complex. I can see there's 2 LMP cars fighting with each other, and I stay tight, and I was going to let them go, but then I realised they're not going fast enough. So then I've got to come around here and let off again, and I lose so much time. It's got to be near a second that I lose here for doing this. So that was a mistake there. I shouldn't have done that. And that's something I'm going to have to fix for the next race. I show you the good parts of my racing. I will also show you the bad parts. That was a bad part, and it was actually over a second as well, looking at the distance to Tejpek. So at this point I am getting slightly worried. Tejpek is catching. He's dealing with the traffic much better than I am at the moment. Of course I've got damage, so I've got to worry about more understeer than normal, and my straight line speed isn't as good either. So that's on my mind as well. As we come through cops once again, who are we looking out for this time? It's driver R1. Driver R1 is clean, and obviously the current champion, so I'll let him through. But then there's also another battle, so I just get these at the really wrong time, so I'll let them through. It's not my place to stop this battle. Let them through, and look at that, Tejpek is right on my tail there. So that cost me another 2 seconds. And Okaraka, I think Okaraka was fighting with Ludovic last time, so that's interesting. But this is where it gets slightly more awkward as well. So you can see we're near the end of the race at this point, and I've lost. See, it'd have been nice where I lost that second, letting the other guy through, and I'd have had them on the straight, and I could let them through and not lost as much time. So that consequence of the wrong decision earlier on has cost me here. Now Dynadas doesn't have his lights on, so I can't judge very well in the mirrors where the heck he is. So I sort of leave the door open a little bit. Tejpek is then going to try and follow Dynadas. I put my foot down, and I'm not sure where Tejpek wanted me to go there at that point. Because obviously I would have to take the corner. I can't just stop. But he turns in anyway. So there's slight contact there. In my mind, that's actually a tiny bit Tejpek's fault. He doesn't leave me any room on the inside at all. But even so, it's just racing. Sometimes that happens. You know, we're back markers with other classes racing as well. He tried to do a sneaky move, which, you know, I'd have probably tried myself. I'd have probably left a little bit more of a gap, but even so, we carry on. So Tejpek is now fighting with me for this second place in class. And I continue on again. As you can see by the camera, and if you've noticed in this video, the wheel is all over the place, especially in the loop there, because you're just fighting with the rear end. You see there, I'm on the rear view. I look behind me for a good few seconds there. And what I'm doing there is I'm working out, is there any more LMP cars, or are all these for position? And they're all for position, they're all GT3 cars. I can just race now to the finish, and I realise that. So I'm not going to worry about Tejpek too much, because I know I'm faster. I did build up nearly an 8-second gap before the LMP cars came. I can still build up that gap. But as I say, I've made a few mistakes letting lap cars through there. It cost me, I would say, actual cost to me was around 3 seconds. I should be 3 seconds up the road essentially from where I am now. So a bit annoying, but even so, we're still in second, and it was a good race. I was happy with second. You know, I couldn't catch F-Mate, and when I saw F-Mate's fastest lap, 2:07.4 I think it was, I was just happy to get second then. While I could do that in the race, and if I had the no damage, I'd have struggled to catch F-Mate anyway. If he was doing 2:07.4s constantly, it'd have been really hard. And apparently when I talked to F-Mate, he said that he did the exact same thing as I did. When I got into second and he saw that I'd got into second, we both worked out how many laps it would possibly take and how much time difference I would need to catch him. So it's funny how the racing mind works sometimes. But really congratulations to F-Mate for getting that. Without his help actually in qualifying, because he gave me a few tips, I actually wouldn't have been that fast. So again, fair play to him. He gets the first place in GT3 class. I'm going to get second. You can see I'm flashing my lights. So I'm super happy with that. Even with that damage, I'm still super happy. So you can see Michael there won with a 1:57.4. And you can see the grid there. And as you can see, F-Mate won in GT3. I came second. 2 minute 8.0. As I say, that's really slow for me. I should be in the 2:07s constantly. And I was doing that in my practice races. I did 2. And even so, they were both the same. But that's it for now. That's it from Silverstone. I've automatically qualified for the next one, thank goodness, which is at Le Mans. And that one should be an interesting one all itself. Never raced there. But if you're interested in watching the last race or any of the races in the playlist, if you're watching much later in the future, check out the playlist. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. But other than that, I will see you in the next video. And thanks for watching.